Where? What the?
What the heck?
What?
Go home. Go home right now.
And Sasquatch is sitting right out there, and it's such a quick movement that it just stood up and it walked off.
Back at the end of 2021, I got a message from one of our field investigators, Scotty Rademacher, and he was telling me that he was going to send me a video that he wanted me to check out. So I went and I looked at it. He warned me at the time. He said, make sure that when you watch this video, you're in a room with all the lights out, or you won't be able to see anything. And I thought, that's interesting. So I put it on the big screen, turned all the lights out, and sure enough, Scotty was right. You could see that there was something in the video, but you just couldn't quite make it out because it was too dark. Well, fast forward a couple of years until, I don't know, about a month or so ago, and I was thinking about all the times that I'd gotten dark or blob squatch pictures, and how I've learned how to lighten the contrast and mess with the different colors and stuff, and how sometimes you can really come up with some interesting stuff. And immediately that video that was too dark to watch came to mind. And so I reached out to Scotty. I was like, hey, you still got that video? And so he resent it to me because I couldn't find it. And sure enough, he found it, and we lightened it up, and we were kind of amazed at what we saw. So I had Scotty reach out to the eyewitness, and we arranged an interview. Before we show you the interview, we're going to show you the original video. And after the interview, we're going to show you the video that's been lightened up, and then some commentary afterwards. So stay tuned.
Driving the girls out to check out some stars, get away from the lights. Hey, there's a shooting star.
Oh, that's a cool. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, cool.
Maybe I can pull out here and see. Careful, better not drive off in the lake. Lake's low.
Wait, what the heck is that right there?
Where? What the?
What the heck?
What?
Go home. Go home right
So,
now.
Nate, a couple years ago, you had something kind of crazy happen to you and your daughter. Was it just one daughter?
I know there's actually two daughters.
$2 in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And when did that happen?
It happened on November 17th of 2021.
That wasn't that long ago.
No.
So why don't you just kind of walk us through, kind of briefly, what got you out here and what you guys were doing when you were making this video?
Well, we like to camp out here, and so I told the daughters we just got done eating some s'mores, and I said let's go out by Mr. D's. This is Mr. D's kind of area, known for Cheney Lake, and so we decided to go out and check out the stars. And this is the closest place, minus to get away from all the campers. And so I loaded up the kids, and we decided to drive over here. And we take the normal road I usually take, and we started to pull up. And I said, this would be a good spot. We're nice and open right here. And when I decided to pull up off over here and turn the lights, and I happened to see what I believe to be Bigfoot.
Now, did you see it first, or did your daughter?
I didn't say anything. I seen it, but she definitely, you can hear her voice. She was like, what is, you clearly see what she says. So, she got my,
sorry, I was just giving you that.
No, she got my goosebumps going and stuff too. And I'd seen it, and I'm like, are you sure? But she seen something for sure. And she, yeah.
So you're driving down through here, and she sees it, and then you turn your truck.
Yeah, so when I pull up into here, and when I pull in on this side, my truck lights come across in the video, and Sasquatch is sitting right out there, and it's such a quick movement that it just stood up and it walked off. And you can hear.
Which way did it go?
It took off to the left here. Which would be technically north.
Yeah.
And we backed up and I got out of here, and then we ended up coming back the next day. So,
Wow. So can you describe what you guys saw?
I would say approximately 7 to 8 foot tall, very hairy, a very large object, and what I believe to be Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the video, and yeah. So it was sitting down.
It was
Right
actually,
out here.
it was squatted down. When my lights came into it in the video, it was actually squatted down like this, and it raised up. It didn't look at me or anything. All it did was get up, and then it just automatically turned and walked.
Yeah.
And you know, my daughter, she wanted out, and I wasn't going to put her in any kind of harm's way. So
on the water, do you have a guesstimation on about maybe how deep it would have been out there?
I would say from where he was at, obviously this lake has been low for quite some time, but from where he was at to the water, from here was probably approximately 12 foot out, and then the water was anywhere from knee deep to ankle deep, starting at the point going out towards that, because that was all underwater at the time.
Okay.
So, but you can see all the vegetation is kind of growing up, but in the video you can see this whole rock jetty right here, and that's where I believe he was eating fish, but I don't know, because at the time there was a bunch of fish that had washed up on shore that were dead, and
That's a good possibility.
yeah,
Well, the lakes always provide a lot of food.
correct.
So, wow. So, how long do you think how long do you think that whole thing lasted? 10 seconds, maybe?
10 seconds maybe.
That is crazy. Did you hear any vocalizations?
No vocalization besides my daughter screaming in my ear. So
That was good enough.
it was a really fast. Seeing when I had originally came up here, I basically had my running lights on, and I had turned the lights on to pull up here because I was like, I don't want to go into the lake. And
yeah, it wouldn't take much.
It wouldn't take much to go in the lake, because a lot of people use this right here to go down there and fish. And so when I swung across to make sure I didn't go in the lake, that's when I was like, and she had heard, oh my God, what is that? And well.
So where did you post this video first?
I'm pretty sure I posted this to my Facebook. I sent it to my dad. Actually, I know. I sent it to my dad first, then my brother. And my brother said, you should post it online to see what somebody else sees. And a lot of people didn't see what I saw. And I had to point it out to them in the upper left-hand corner of the video, and so and then I posted it, and I went and I was like, okay, like I probably need to get maybe some experts, someone that knows more than I do. And so I posted on a couple Bigfoot sites and stuff like that, and I've had countless messages of people like, hey, can I see this video? Can I use this video? And I sign off on it. I'm not trying to, make anything. I'm not trying to be famous. I just, I saw Sasquatch. That's what I truly believe.
So, man, that's pretty crazy. So your daughter won't come out here with you anymore?
She doesn't like to. She is very, very afraid, and she definitely doesn't like this area. She has been out since, but we don't come on this side of the lake.
How old was she when this happened?
She was 8 years old.
Wow. That's pretty, yeah, I could definitely see. And you had another child in the vehicle?
Yeah, she wasn't paying attention. She was actually looking out the window, the right window, and when the daughter first started basically seeing what she saw and everything else like that, that's when she was like, what's going on? But she didn't see anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably the wrong place, and yeah.
Yeah, she was actually looking out that window. I had the window down, and she was looking out that window, and so unfortunately she didn't see anything.
Wow. Well, this is the habitat is here.
The habitat is here.
It's just the biggest problem with the believability is always it's Kansas.
Right.
Nobody thinks that these things can be in Kansas.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's a BRFO report of a woman who saw one eating mussel shells further downstream. What's the name of this river?
Well, this is Cheney Lake, but what runs into it is the Ninneskal River.
Ninneskal.
Yep,
River.
Ninneskal River.
Never heard anybody pronounce it.
Oh, yep, Ninneskal.
Ninneskal.
Yep.
But a woman a couple years ago actually saw one just sitting in the middle of the river.
Yeah.
You know, eating mussel shells.
Yeah. We're actually huge here for zebra mussels.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're one of the most. So we are number 5 on the biggest lakes in Kansas. And so, but we're actually, this lake was built in the early 60s to feed Wichita, which is the largest,
That's a water source.
It's a water source. So they're draining this lake. We're the only one that gets drained to go to such a large metropolis. Like a lot of these other lakes are just, they're just lakes. They, you know, they don't get pulled from. Well, this one gets pulled from Wichita and a bunch of other entities that go around it. And so this vegetation, as you see it right now, is normally not like this. So it's a little bit harder to map out the terrain. So what I plan on doing for you guys is going over the video, and we'll try to get right where it was sought, and then we can actually follow it out there and go from there.
That's interesting.
You said you actually had got
some footprints. Yes.
Footprints?
Yes, we got hair samples. I sent it off. I'll have to look and see. I have the guy's name that I sent the hair samples to in Washington State is where I sent it to. And then the footprint stuff. So, yep.
Oh, that's interesting. I look forward to seeing that. How big were the footprints, you think?
We didn't have a tape measure.
Oh, yeah.
But I would tell you easily,
bigger than normal, huh?
Way bigger than normal. The weird thing is the way it was how it, I would say it flexed, the foot flexed, because when it started, it walked with it. It was a heel print first because it was deeper. That's what one of the other guys was telling me when I sent him the picture of it. It was deeper, and he thinks because it was silty, and it wasn't like it was now. It was kind of mushy.
Yeah.
And so you can see where the footprint, but it spreads out real far, and it's deep. It's very deep. I mean, the impression was easily an inch and a quarter
and
deep.
Were the footprints out there?
Yes, the footprints are here, and then some of this was here. There was more rock. It's might have kind of been swept away, and there was a big log, and I don't see. They probably used it for firewood, but there was a large log right in here.
Okay. Wow.
That I would imagine they probably used, because I've never seen those rock formations ever. So, but you got to understand, the water here is now 8 foot low. It's a historical low, but we just had some rain, so it's starting to come up a little bit. But as you can see, this is normally underwater, all of this.
Yeah, you can tell. And it'll all die back off whenever it does finally fill back up.
We were hoping they were going to come dredge, but they haven't dredged yet.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to bring us out here.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a really nice place. I could see where the habitat is here, the food sources are here.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a huge breeding population of Sasquatch in this area, but I could definitely see where it could hold, a couple of families.
Oh, for sure.
A small deal of them.
Yeah. Well, your red bluffs are all over there, and it goes forever over there too.
It's actually, I was looking at it on a map. It's a really big lake.
There's so much, and there's a lot of different areas too. There was a report back in 2000, if I remember right, it was 2005 or 2006. On the very back side of the lake, there was a guy fishing in the boat, and he called the sheriffs, he called the game wardens and everything, and said, "Hey, there is 100% Sasquatch here, like guaranteed. I just seen it."
Really?
And it's right off the Red Bluffs is where he was at.
Wow.
And it makes sense because that area is so dense with trees. It's a huge deer population. Yeah. And this lake, when I start taking you to different places, you can definitely see the different habitats of where a Sasquatch family could live. I mean, there's tons of birds. there's everything here that you need to be able to survive. And
like
I said, and like I said, there's been several sightings over from as long as I can remember. There's been plenty of sightings. I'm like, hey, you know, is this from you or is this from somebody else, or, you know? And so, yeah, it's everywhere else, and nothing's really ever been on particularly this side. It's always been on that side for the most part.
So,
because this is over here is where all the campers are and everything else like this. Over there's no camping. There's more primitive stuff. There's, you know, it's really easy access to the water, stuff like that.
So how many reports other than yours and this fisherman, how many reports do you think have come out of this area that really haven't been documented?
15 to 20 for sure that I've personally heard stories that are two of them are from people that I personally know that have vowed to probably never come back to the lake, and they haven't still to this day.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, Bigfoot do tend to make people believers real fast.
Yeah, I'm a believer. I'm an absolute believer in Bigfoot for sure.
Have you ever thought about Bigfoot before you were in Ghana?
Yeah, a few times. We've been in Colorado, and you know, you see statues and stuff like that, and of course, you know, when I was a young boy watching Harry and the Hendersons, you know, it kind of piques your interest and stuff like that. And I've always heard stories and never really, you know, you see stuff on the internet and you see, and that people are like, oh, that's debunked, and so you kind of go back and forth. You know, well, is it real? Is it not? You know, and stuff like that. And so I've seen things that I'm like, okay, like that's the real deal. Like, you know, there's enough evidence. Everybody's gathered enough evidence. And then this deal locked me in 100%. 100%. When there's a scared kid involved and you can hear the voice, you know, she's not an actor. She's never been coached or anything else. She
Not a 9-year-old prodigy actor.
Exactly, yes. She saw what she saw, and you can clearly hear it in her voice. I mean, it's.
Well, and the funny thing about that is I'm pretty sure that knowing what I know about how everything turns out bad when it's taken on the cell phone or even a video camera, what you saw with your eyes was probably a lot greater quality than the video itself.
For sure, yes. And it was one of those things. A lot of people are like, "Well, why were you taking a video come out there?" And the thing of it is that's you know, I videotape a lot of stuff. You know, I let people know that, hey, you know, this is what we're doing. It's kind of a term of endearment. I'm taking the kids out to go look at the stars. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's a common practice, things that I do and stuff like
People
that. And
post stuff like that on TikTok all the time.
Right, and I just happened to be recording at the same time, you know, because you know you can hear in the video, oh, that's, you know, a shooting star and stuff like that. So
I remember that.
Yeah, and so those are the things. That's why I do this stuff like do. I mean, I've taken plenty of videos while I'm just walking out here on the you know, looking for seashells and stuff with the kids and taking pictures and stuff. So just one of those things is, I mean, I happened to catch something that was pretty big.
Bigger than you wanted.
I would tell you, I am 6'5" and I weigh 320 pounds, and it'd make me look anorexic.
Yeah,
100%. It was way, and you got to understand too. I'm sitting up inside and looking out, and it was. I mean,
when it stood up, it was higher than you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's at least 3 foot down below where we're at right now.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you taking time to visit with us.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it, you know,
Absolutely.
and we appreciate the fact that you was actually taking a video.
I know, right? It's good.
It's very interesting. You know, we saw that video a couple years ago, and at the time, you know, we couldn't see anything really, but then, you know, I went through and lightened it all up, and for once in a very long time, you know, playing with the contrast and the sharpness on that video.
Yeah.
I kind of got a shock whenever I got to see it. So I was like, golly, we've been sitting on this forever.
Yeah.
So I'm not an editor or I never taken any classes in photography, but
Right.
over the years you learn a few tricks.
Yeah, you do.
So, and that finally it paid off.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Go stand where you think it was.
Man, I'm trying to remember. I have to go back and get, because there was water here. It has to be up here. Has to be up here. Where's that? Okay, it's about right here. Because we went walking that way, and there's a tree over here that had the fibers on it, or the hair. So it was right here. Look, beaver mussels, yeah, just right here. Yeah, 'cause there was water here.
That's cool.
Yeah, there was water right here. So he was down like this, came up, turned. Right back up.
Huh.
Yeah, because it has, yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember it said it was that tree.
Maybe I can pull out here and see. Careful, better not drive off in the lake. Lake's low.
Wait, what the heck is that right there?
Where? What the?
What the heck?
What?
Go home. Go home right now. Go.
So going through this video frame by frame, you can see that it does start out with its back towards the humans. And of course, I think it gives it a couple of seconds to see if they're just going to keep going. But when it figures out that they're not, it gets up and it walks off to its left. Notice how the creature's leaning forward as it walks away. And in 2 different frames, you can actually see where it's kicking its leg up really high, that following leg, kind of like Thinker Thunker talks about that 90-degree angle. I'm not a genius on this kind of stuff, but that's not normal human behavior. I found this particular frame, whenever it's squatted down, you can almost see one of the knees and possible conical head on this thing. Maybe I'm imagining things, but that's what it looks like to me. In this photo, it almost looks like it's turned around, giving the humans the side eye to see if they're going to leave or not. In this particular frame, you can kind of see that it's gotten really, really blurry, but you can definitely tell that the creature is leaning forward as it's walking. And this particular frame is one of the ones where you can see that following leg kicking up at a 90-degree angle. Take a good look. You be your own judge. Let me know in the comments what you think. Just remember to be civil. Now this would be the final frame, which you can actually see the creature in. And you can see that it's leaning really far forward in this frame. And down at the bottom, you can see what could possibly be one of those, following feet kicking up really high. I don't know. It's really got me scratching my head here.